I am liking Kevin in Oregon. Pronouns are he, him. Mennonite, but trying to deconstruct his faith, but not going well and wants some advice. So
right on.
Bring up Kevin.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello?
Hey.
Am I actually on the air with you guys?
You were actually on the air with us guys.
No, this is actually the purgatory
not-
of the atheist experience. Not actually quite there yet, no.
This is not Forrest, is it?
This is, but that isn't.
No.
Who else is there?
We got a mic over here.
Yeah, my name is Mike.
I love you guys. I don't mean to take away from anybody, but Forrest is my hero.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That means the world to me.
He's my hero as well, so I will second that notion.
And
You
he
guys
smells
are-
quite nice too.
I don't know how
thank
you can
I
be so
appreciate it.
happy all the time. I don't know how you can be so happy all the time, and I wish I could, and be so patient.
I'm just thrilled to be here, man.
You're like a good. You're a good Christian.
Thank you. Awesome.
So you want to hear my thing, or
I would love to. Yeah, please.
I'm sorry for talking so much.
Not at all. It's a call-in show.
I've been a Mennonite. I'm 62. I've been a Mennonite all my life, and like not really strict, but kind of. And I can't get away from hell. It's just driving me nuts. And your guys' usual thing of, well, do you believe in the hell of other religions? Well, no, I don't. And I don't believe in the hell of this religion, but guess what? I've got them neural pathways I talk to your counselors about.
Yep.
And it's getting really, I can't shake the hell. God is fucking evil. I can't stand it. But then I love God. Maybe God exists. I don't know. I'd like some evidence, like you guys say, but it's really hard to shake this. And I'm looking to you guys for advice before and now. But that thing about, do you believe the other hells? That's not doing it for me.
No, it makes sense. And honestly, that is a good logic thought experiment to try to help you shake off the idea to begin with. But at the end of the day, like you said, you've been believing this for so long. This has been a very present fear for a long time. I have several friends who have, deconstructed their faith and that haven't been religious for a long time. And even like years and years and years down the line, they still, even though they know for sure they don't believe this at all, they just wake up in the middle of the night like, oh shit, I'm going to hell. Like, and then it hits them weirdly because that's what trauma does. You are in an abusive relationship, sir. Is that you are dealing with the after effects of that. So yeah, if intellectually not knowing, or I should say, if intellectually knowing that hell isn't real isn't good enough to get over the hump of the trigger response, the emotional, the fear response, I don't have a tremendous amount of experience of that, but I would say my advice, if I could give some, would be to just remember that any God that would do that is evil. And what you just said a minute ago about how, I guess I love him if he's there, but if not, you don't need to do that. You can distance yourself from the relationship, and maybe the more you distance yourself and the more you get away from that and the more you separate yourself from that kind of thinking, not just about hell, but about worshiping this God or thinking this God is any kind of good or any kind of justified, any system like that at all is unnecessary and unwarranted and unjustifiable and frankly unforgivable. Maybe that will help you get out of that habit of saying, okay, well, this is justifiable, this is allowed, I love this God, and now, even though I don't believe this thing is real, it might still happen, Deconstructing one more part of that might help, but I don't know if maybe you guys have some experience with specifically deconstructing that particular belief.
I don't, so I didn't come out of this background. I get this question a lot, and I always feel like I'm going to give an inadequate response because it's not something I can pull from my own experience, and it's the only thing that I can really think of, because I've been thinking about this recently. I really enjoy reading like New Testament scholarship, like critical scholars on the matter. I find it fascinating, and so what I've learned about the development of hell through the intertestamental period of time before the first books of the New Testament or the Pauline epistles, up until first century Palestine and beyond, when you see like how it develops. The way that I'm thinking about this, if I was a Christian or if I had these beliefs or if I was a Mennonite, I would look into the history of this. And I think for me, I don't know, because I'm so divorced from holding those beliefs, it gave me like an aha moment of like, wow, this is so obviously constructed. You can kind of see how it's developed through time. I can't think of any, I don't know if I should I don't really have like any specific books off the top of my head or anything I could think of, but I would look at the historicity of the claims and how they develop over time, because it might just be this aha moment for you where you see how clearly man-made it is. For me, that was the case. I didn't have such a barrier and such a wall or a hump to get over. So I think, you're tethered a lot more to something that I wasn't. So it's really hard for me to say that might be the best advice, but it's something, if you haven't considered, I would suggest.
I'd like to just add, if you're not a robot, you can't turn those emotions off easily. We're not programmed. We are feeling beings, and you just have to deal with it. And that's not really fair on you, unfortunately. But I hope you're kind to yourself. Don't feel guilt if you can't shake it, or that you're some kind of lesser or broken person. You have been traumatized. You've been damaged, abused by people pushing these thoughts into your head. And please just be kind to yourself.
I'm trying to. I've developed insomnia recently. I literally don't sleep for more than weeks at a time thinking about this stuff. And I'm sitting here trying to write a letter to my sister, trying to apologize and explain, and she's a devout Christian, and she won't read anything I write her because I mention God. It seems kind of ironic, just like Jesus would do. Oh, you mention God, then I won't talk to you. Well, but along those lines of the historicity, I have been doing that some, probably not as much as I should, but I found a really interesting thing that may help some people. I didn't realize this before, but it's very likely that when Jesus was talking about hell, he was talking about a physical burn pit outside of Jerusalem. It was very nasty, and he didn't want to go there. And I don't know for sure if that's true, of course, but that helps me.
Bart Ehrman has some good content.
The origins of Gehenna and all that. That's the Jewish tradition. Yeah.
The origins of what?
I think that's Gehenna was the Jewish hell, and that was the pit. It was a cliff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
there you
makes
go.
Sense. I don't know. I could talk to literally for hours and try to get advice and stuff for hours, but I know that there's other callers and whatnot.
You're good. I mean, I want to say one thing is, like, I had anxiety getting on a plane and things like that, and I've looked up like the data, and I know like how much more safe it is than me getting in my car.
Right.
We always have these kind of like irrational, I don't know if you want to call them irrational or rational. We have these fears, even though we know to our best ability, like, I really shouldn't have this kind of fear. This is that on steroids, right? Like, you have to realize that it is something that has just been like, there's a measurement there to keep you in line. There's a measurement there to guide your actions, right? Should I do this thing? Should I not do this thing? You might have had that in your head under any deliberation that you had, and that is the guiding factor. And now you go through and I go, well, I need to deliberate between A and B. Well, hold on. Choosing one of those things was maybe sending me towards a path to hell. I've never looked at it in a way where I've divorced myself from one of those options, being completely just irrelevant to that because it's just some fabric made up nonsense, right? And so what you can end up, at least what will happen in my opinion over time, is that you'll eventually start to, like, you choose that thing and you don't have that thought of like, is this going to progress me into hell? Or right, you're not going to have that type of fear. Right. And I just think that's so similar to kind of how Forrest said about relationships. You just wake up one day and you don't think about the person anymore. You wake up one day and you just notice this difference, and that's the start. I don't expect that's going to happen, anytime soon for most people, and that's kind of the unfortunate nature, because you spent so much time having it ingrained to you. You can't just, stick it in the microwave and out pop, a whole new person.
Yeah.
It's like a crock pot, right? It has to stew for a very long time.
And could you imagine if everyone you loved and trusted told you that planes were dangerous for your whole life? How difficult would it be to shake that?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Even though the data's there. I mean, come on.
That's a good point. I never even thought about it like that.
It was what you were talking about there, just kind of the hope that eventually things will be. It's a Abraham Lincoln quote that I know. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and it often comes with bitter agony. Perfect relief is not possible except with time. You cannot now believe that you will ever feel better, but this is not true. You are sure to be happy again. And knowing this, truly believing it, will make you less miserable now. I have enough experience to make this statement. And so, like, I kind of see that when you're thinking about, like, anxiety and...
Did you read that?
So, yeah, I can repeat it, absolutely. This is Abraham Lincoln.
No. Did you read that, or is that from your memory?
No, I'm reading it off a screen right now. Yes.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if Forrest read that from his memory.
I've heard it enough to be able to Google it.
I've spent a weekend with him, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
But yeah, this I think about this sometimes whenever I'm dealing with, anxiety or depression or whatever it may be. Not that this is any kind of mental health advice for anybody else, but like you're talking about, this lingering, issue of hell in your mind, this lingering trauma, these wounds caused by your religious upbringing. Just knowing that this is something that other people have worked through and that you will be able to, even in those moments where it seems like it won't be possible and that this is something that's going to stick with you forever and that you can't shake. In that moment where you can't shake it, know that you will shake it later. And like right now sucks. And that's where you are right now. And that sucks. And it's okay that it sucks. You're allowed to hate it. But in a minute, it'll be different, I promise. That has gotten me through a lot in my life. Is just like, I'm going to feel this right now. And I know I will feel something else later. And right now sucks. And it's allowed to suck. And that's okay. Later on, it will be different. Okay. And that gets you through where you are. Yeah,
that helps. I will try to do that.
It doesn't help in the moment. I can tell you.
Yeah, we have to be honest with that.
All right.
Do you have anything else, Kevin, that you want to say before you get off?
Yeah, just one more thing, if you don't mind, real quick. I so identify with Matt. I'm like, that's my life. I'm snippy. That's something I got to work on. I'm snippy and short and sarcastic and I so identify with Matt in that way, and then I so much want to be like Forrest. Yeah, I mean, holy cow! I don't know how you do it. You've helped me so much on evolution. I thought I knew about evolution, but I knew nothing about evolution until I started listening to you.
Well, thank you.
The way you're so patient and whatnot. Just keep up being Christ-like.
Hey, Kevin. I will say, carve out a space for Kevin, right? I mean, there's so many ways that you can interact with these conversations. I'm somebody that I get really pissed off, especially when I do like TikTok debates and stuff with people. Some of my friends will know how upset I can get. And I feel you. There's part of me that's like, I want to be like more of the Forrest or my friend Danny and try to get more on the, or my buddy Cease, like try to get, calm, but it's tough. And the one thing I would say is that you keep that in your mind. Obviously, you don't want to, you don't want to get upset and you want to hear somebody out, but it's warranted in a lot of these conversations.
There's also like
I'll promise you, you'll try your hardest and you'll say there's no reason I should even be this charitable anymore. So
no, there's different personality types and different argument types. Like this show would suck if it was just me. Like we need diversity of argument styles and of talking.
Yeah, I love that.
And you should see me get pissed off if we get somebody call in defending fascism or slavery. Like I won't be happy anymore. I promise you.
And if you ever feel like you need to come vent, get it out, there's safe space to do that. Come to the ACA Discord. We're friendly. It's cool. You can just hash it out.
Right.
It's groovy.
You know what? You guys are way more Christ-like than practically all the Christians I've ever met. It drives me nuts. Why can't they act more like you guys?
I mean,
anyways,
we are pretty cool, if I'm honest. Look at us. Anyway, thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate you calling in and taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome. And just know whatever, I don't know, was it? No, there's some guy that does scams, breaks up scams, and he says, just know that you're important and you matter.
Love that.
And I love that. And same thing for you guys.
Thank you so much.
You too.